Hello, today I'd like to introduce you to an exciting new technology called deviceTrust that can help offer compliancy, security and configuration on your virtual sessions. Here we have a virtual session farm. This may be Citrix, it might be Microsoft RDS Terminal Services, but ultimately you will have quite a few servers that are offering virtual sessions to your end users. Your endpoints that will be coming in will typically be your Windows desktops, static desktops, or laptops. But over the years we have started to see a myriad of extra devices coming in, such as your handheld devices, your tablets, your phablets. You also have your browsers such as Chrome, Internet Explorer, Safari with virtual session connections, as well as your iPhones, your iOS devices, your Apple Macs, and of course you have Android devices as well, and all of these could be tablets or phablets or any type of device connecting in. We try to protect our virtual session farms by introducing concepts as firewalls to ensure that the correct standards are met, only certain devices through certain ports are met. And we also try to make sure that our devices are secure by installing things such as antivirus software or VPNs onto these devices if these software capabilities are available. But ultimately these are just checks to ensure that they can get the connection, to make sure that they are deemed safe at the time to get their virtual session. Unfortunately, on the session side, on the virtual session farm side, you cannot actually query that much about the endpoint devices. We can get information such as client IP address information, and certain protocols such as ICA will allow you to check some latency and some screen information, but it's not across the board and it's not common to be able to cross all of your virtual infrastructures to get all of the information from the devices, such as, is this device actually on a corporate network? Is this device actually in my country? Is this device touch enabled? Has this device actually got certain software installed? What printers are on the other side? All of this information is extremely difficult to get from the virtual session farm infrastructure once the device is connected through. It's almost like a passport system. You've got the correct passport, in you come. You can now run on my session farm, but I don't know anything else about you other than you've obtained this passport. I want to introduce a scenario as an analogy here to try to explain this a little bit further. So let's take a fictitious company where I'm trying to employ a sales manager and a tattoo artist. Now I may employ telephone interview system. The problem with the telephone interview system is I have no visibility of the person on the other side. They may be giving me the correct answers, but I don't know whether they are a fit for the role that I'm after. The problem is I can't see enough. So I may switch to using video conferencing. And on video conferencing I get a clearer picture of who I'm talking to, even though they're giving me the correct answers. And with a clearer picture I can make a better informed decision. Now, as to who should be the sales manager or the tattoo artist, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But more importantly, you get to decide with a clearer picture. So how does this relate to the virtual session infrastructure? So here we have our Windows desktop machine that is connecting into our virtual session farm. We install a small piece of software called deviceTrust on the client, on the endpoint, and we also have the server equivalent sat on the virtual server farm. This is communicating automatically and dynamically through the virtual channel that you are communicating through RDS or through Citrix ICA, for example. The client is dynamically passing through to the virtual server farm all of its information about its hardware, its network, its printing, etc., all based per user, and it stores it in a nice, simple to view registry format. Or, if you wish, you can take a look at it in session environment variables. Any software can access this information. So if you're using software such as scripting or GPOs or AppSense, then they can query this registry information or session information to make informed decisions about how to configure the endpoint. And remember, this is dynamic information. Now, the information that is stored and passed across includes, as you can see on the screen. So you've got your standard information such as user, client and session information. But then it goes much deeper. Detailed OS hardware, versions, patches, even down to serial numbers. Bandwidth and latency. How good it is using the Microsoft standards of whether it's good, bad, poor. Firewall settings. Is the firewall switched on? Have they switched it off halfway through the session? IP domain gateways, DNS settings to enable you to check whether or not they're actually on your network, whether they're on a public network. Display settings, whether they've changed them, what size the screen is, may depend on what type of applications or which icons, or whether you put any icons on the desktop. Action Center configuration, how it's been set up. Input types, keyboards, mouse, touch devices. Network connections, local printers and networking printers. Power settings, including battery settings, and much more. All of these can be triggered on as well, so that you can then decide to take any actions if you wish. In its rawest format, deviceTrust can be set to say that if the client software is not installed, then when they connect through the firewall, they will get a message that you can configure to deny them access until they've installed deviceTrust. You can, for example, decide that if the firewall has been switched off mid-session, then to deny access to certain applications. So in a nutshell, what deviceTrust does is it pushes all of the client endpoint information dynamically into the virtual session on the session side, on the virtual server side, so that you can query this real time and make informed decisions about how you configure and how you allow access to certain aspects of that session. So why use deviceTrust? There are many reasons, through to compliancy, security, licensing, and bring your own devices. Machines that connect to your virtual sessions have to fit certain criteria. The difficulty is analysing the endpoint device, work out what's on that machine, what state that machine is, and then how to configure it. And this is always the great problem. So basically, what deviceTrust brings you is configuration, see more, decide more, control more. Work out what's on the machine, work out what you need to do with it, and how to configure it, and how to set it up for the end users, or, if wish, deny access to certain applications or to the session itself. Sabicon Limited are a certified gold partner of deviceTrust operating out of the UK, and if you wish any further information or demonstrations, please contact us on the website below. Thank you.